The footage from a routine hog eradication operation in Texas was never meant to reveal anything extraordinary. It came from an infrared trail camera nestled in a secluded clearing of Blanco County, one of thousands of cameras placed strategically across the state with the highest feral hog population in the nation. Every year, wildlife officials sift through thousands of hours of grainy, black and white footage, usually spotting nothing more remarkable than a family of raccoons or a lone deer. But what appeared on this particular tape stunned everyone. It wasn't a failed trap. It wasn't a new migration pattern. It was something far more consequential, something that wildlife researchers had never seen before. Something that forced them to rewind and replay the footage countless times, blinking in disbelief, whispering to each other in hushed tones. And then, finally, the words would come, trembling with a mix of fear and awe. This could change everything. It could change the way Texas, and perhaps the entire United States, approaches the feral hog invasion that has quietly grown into a monstrous problem. Have we been fighting the wrong battle all along? The invasion that never ended. To understand the scope of the problem, one must look back centuries. The story begins in the 1500s, when Spanish explorers navigated the treacherous Gulf Coast. These explorers were practical men, thinking in terms of survival. They released domestic pigs into the wild as a living, self-replenishing food supply. The plan was simple: leave the animals behind, return months later, and eat. What no one anticipated was the pigs' adaptability. Within months, the domestic pigs had vanished into the dense forests, disappearing like shadows into the wild. They spread, untracked and unnoticed, across rivers and plains, multiplying in ways that seemed almost supernatural. By the time humans realized what was happening, these pigs had become an unstoppable force. Fast forward to the early 1900s, wealthy Europeans brought over Eurasian wild boar for sport hunting. These were no ordinary farm pigs. They were lean, aggressive, and bred to survive the harshest conditions of Europe's forests. Inevitably, some escaped. The escaped boars crossbred with the feral pigs that had already colonized the American South. What emerged was a hybrid far more formidable than anything seen before. Smarter, faster, and stronger, these new hogs became apex invaders of their own making. A single sow can give birth to 2 litters a year, each litter holding up to 12 piglets. Population growth is exponential. Feral hog numbers can double in under 5 months under ideal conditions. Today, the USDA estimates nearly 7 million feral hogs roam the United States. Texas alone is home to 2.6 million of them. They sprint at speeds up to 30 miles per hour, leap fences over 40 inches tall, and carry tusks more than 6 inches long. Their skin, an inch thick over layers of cartilage, can even deflect light ammunition. These are not just pests. They are survivalists engineered by centuries of evolution to dominate any environment they enter. When a species exhibits such resilience, the question arises: can conventional human methods ever hope to control it? The human struggle. The havoc these hogs wreak is both tangible and terrifying. They destroy crops with a veracity that seems almost malicious. Lawns are ripped apart as though by a natural bulldozer. Underground infrastructure, from irrigation pipes to septic lines, is shredded. And human life is not immune. In central Texas, feral hogs once charged a military airfield at dawn, forcing pilots to cancel takeoffs. In 2019, tragedy struck Harris County when a woman was killed by a sudden feral hog attack just outside her home. Farmers know this devastation intimately. Norman, a third-generation rancher managing 740 acres in Williamson County, has seen entire fields of corn destroyed overnight. 24 acres, gone in a few hours, $40,000 vanished like smoke in the wind. Norman's frustration is palpable when he recounts the story. No matter what we do, traps, hunting dogs, professional removal crews, the hogs always come back. They're smarter now. Wary. They watch, they learn. They adapt. Wildlife researcher Bruce Leland, who has studied feral hog populations for decades, puts it bluntly: we do not have tools powerful enough to win this fight. Every traditional method is temporary. Escapees produce dozens more piglets before the next season. Every breeding cycle is a biological reset. We're running on a treadmill, thinking we're making progress, but we're not. Even helicopter hunts, which can remove hundreds of hogs in a single day, have changed the scale of removal without altering the outcome. The aerial sweeps seem impressive, but they rarely solve the underlying problem. The failure no one spoke of. For decades, the official playbook was deceptively simple. Trap the hogs, shoot them, push them onto neighboring lands. It sounded logical, but logic didn't account for the hogs' relentless adaptability. Arkansas offers a grim illustration. Helicopter culling operations at Petit Jean River Wildlife Management Area routinely remove hundreds of hogs at once, yet within weeks, new herds appear as if by magic. And here's the more alarming question. Could our very interventions be exacerbating the problem? Aggressive removal tactics have an unintended consequence. They scatter the hogs into areas previously untouched. What seems like success, a cleared field or an empty forest, is often the prelude to a larger, more dispersed infestation. A $20,000 helicopter sweep might reduce a local population temporarily, but it frequently sows the seeds for new populations elsewhere. Despite billions in cumulative spending nationwide, no human intervention has ever cracked the problem. Enter the footage. So, when the Blanco County infrared trail camera captured something unusual, it wasn't just another wildlife snapshot, it was a potential paradigm shift. The footage showed hogs acting in a pattern never documented before, coordinated, almost strategic movements that suggested a level of intelligence far beyond ordinary pigs. Researchers watching the tape noted moments where the animals appeared to communicate, flank, or even anticipate human presence. Dr. Elise Montgomery, a behavioral ecologist called to analyze the tape, remembers her reaction vividly. At first, I thought it was a glitch. But as I slowed the footage, frame by frame, it became clear. These were not random movements. They were organized, tactical, and purposeful. The question we couldn't stop asking ourselves, how much more are we underestimating these animals? The setting itself added an eerie intensity to the footage. Blanco County's rolling hills and dense cedar thickets, normally serene in the pre-dawn hours, became a shadowed arena. Moonlight barely pierced the fog rolling through the low valleys, casting a silver pall over the landscape. Every branch snapped underfoot, every rustle of leaves heightened the tension. In these conditions, feral hogs seemed almost supernatural, predators that could vanish into the night at will. Personal stories. Norman's experience on his ranch gives the problem a human face. One night, he spotted a group of hogs moving like ghosts through his fields. I counted at least 20, maybe 30, he recalls. They were quiet, deliberate. It was like watching a small army, not animals. I've lived here all my life, and I've never seen anything like it. The scale, the intelligence, it's terrifying. Elsewhere in Texas, similar stories emerge. A wildlife officer in Travis County recounts an encounter on a remote service road. I turned the corner, and there they were. A dozen hogs, perfectly still, watching me. I've seen a lot in my career, but their calm, coordinated stance? I've never felt anything like it. I had to back off. These weren't ordinary pigs. They were predators. A national concern. The consequences extend beyond Texas. Feral hogs damage crops, ecosystems, and infrastructure across nearly every southern and midwestern state. In California, authorities report hogs tearing through vineyards and orchards. In Florida, they disrupt wetlands, threatening endangered species. They are omnipresent, omnivorous, and nearly indestructible. And with every failed attempt to control them, the question grows more urgent. Are we confronting an animal problem, or a force of nature we have underestimated for centuries? The new paradigm. The Blanco County footage raises profound questions for scientists, policymakers, and citizens alike. Are we treating feral hogs as mindless pests when they exhibit near-strategic intelligence? Have decades of eradication efforts unintentionally encouraged their spread? And, most provocatively, what does a world look like in which humans can no longer dominate one of the most adaptable mammals on the planet? The answers are unclear, but one thing is certain. The footage is forcing a re-evaluation of strategy. Wildlife agencies are beginning to explore innovative methods, targeted contraception, ecosystem-based deterrence, and predictive modeling of hog movement. The age of indiscriminate trapping and culling may be ending, replaced by an era where understanding the hog's behavior is as important as removing them. The public, too, is left asking questions. What if these animals are smarter than we think? What if conventional methods aren't just ineffective, but counterproductive? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, what if the feral hogs have been quietly winning this battle for centuries, right under our noses? From the first Spanish pigs released into the wild along the Gulf Coast centuries ago to the hybrid Eurasian boars of the early 1900s, feral hogs have proven themselves to be among the most adaptable, resilient, and destructive creatures on American soil. They arrived quietly at first, hitching rides with explorers and settlers, often seen as a convenient source of meat. But over time, these animals evolved beyond simple domestication. Their sharp tusks and unparalleled reproductive rate made them nearly unstoppable, while their intelligence allowed them to outmaneuver the very humans who sought to control them. Feral hogs sprint through dense undergrowth, leap over fences, and devastate fields in minutes, leaving a path of ruin that can cost farmers millions. Yet, as recent Blanco County infrared footage has revealed, their capabilities might extend far beyond brute force. They may, in fact, outthink us. It's a chilling realization. For decades, humanity believed it controlled the hunt. But what happens when the hunted begins to outwit the hunter? Are we facing a new era in which the balance of survival is shifting under our noses? This isn't just a Texas problem. It's a national puzzle, a cautionary tale about the unintended consequences of human interference and the sheer ingenuity of nature. Across the United States, from the wetlands of Louisiana to the forests of Georgia, feral hogs have claimed new territory, adapted to new climates, and developed behaviors that defy simple solutions. Yet, the Blanco County footage forces a sobering question. In this battle of survival, are we truly the predators, or have we unknowingly become the prey? The revelation. The moment of revelation came unexpectedly. A trail camera in Blanco County, Texas, captured the first glimpses of what researchers would later call a tactical predation event. The footage glowed in infrared. The timestamp reading 2 a.m. shadows moved stealthily among the brush. At first glance, the motion seemed routine, a coyote wandering near a hog nest. Field researchers dismissed it as nothing more than random nocturnal activity. Yet, something about the scene defied conventional explanation. The nests themselves, carefully constructed beds of grass and leaves where sows sheltered newborn piglets, were being systematically destroyed. Not by humans, not by conventional traps, but by something far more sophisticated. Dr. Michael Bodenchuk, a veteran wildlife services biologist with decades of experience in predator-prey dynamics, examined the tracks. They didn't match any large carnivore, not bears, not mountain lions. They were small, compact, evenly spaced. Coyotes. It seemed impossible. How could a 30-pound predator threaten a 200-pound sow? Coyotes, solitary or even in small groups, were traditionally considered scavengers, opportunistic hunters at best. Yet the footage told a different story. The coyotes approached in coordinated formation, moving like a single organism. One crept downwind of the nest, undetected, while others flanked from both sides, maintaining surveillance. Another coyote acted as a sentinel, guarding the perimeter. The sow, temporarily distracted or perhaps foraging, left the nest unprotected for mere seconds. That window was all the predators needed. In a flash of precision, they struck, seizing the piglets and dragging them into the tree line before the mother could react. Pause for a moment and imagine this scene. A wild predator, without instruction or guidance, executing maneuvers that would rival a trained military unit. Distraction, flanking, ambush, extraction, all within seconds. Could we, even with the most sophisticated technology, replicate such coordinated hunting? High-risk micropredation. Laboratory analysis only deepened the mystery. Necropsies of captured coyotes revealed something remarkable. A third of their stomachs contained fresh feral piglet tissue. Scat analysis across Georgia confirmed the trend, with over 30% of samples containing piglet DNA. This was no random opportunism. Coyotes had discovered a loophole in the human strategy. Humans targeted adult hogs, mature sows and boars that were destructive and easier to track. Yet the true vulnerability lay in the next generation, the piglets. Coyotes had developed what researchers now term high-risk micropredation, a method of hunting that mimicked tactical operations, identifying weaknesses, exploiting timing, and executing high-precision strikes while mother hogs were fatigued or distracted. No trap, no helicopter sweep, no federal eradication program had ever approached this level of sophistication. Coyotes did it naturally, through generations of learned behavior. It raises a fundamental question. How often do humans overlook nature's solutions while investing billions into interventions that may, in reality, be redundant or even counterproductive? Humans versus coyotes. The irony is stark. Between 2017 and 2020, several states offered bounty programs paying hunters to kill coyotes, $75 a head. Populations dropped dramatically. In Kerr County, Texas, coyote numbers declined by over 60%. The result? Within 3 years, feral hog populations had tripled. By removing the coyotes, humans had unintentionally eliminated the one natural predator capable of controlling hog numbers at the generational level. We were eliminating the cure, Dr. Bodenchuk admitted, frustration evident in his voice. While traps, helicopters, and poison provided temporary relief, none could match the precision and efficiency of coyotes operating in their ecological niche. The war had been fought on the wrong front all along. How often do we wage battles against nature without first understanding the enemy, or the allies we've ignored? A new strategy. In response, Texas wildlife management has shifted tactics. Modern efforts combine technology with ecosystem management. Smart traps line ranches, solar-powered, infrared-enabled, and connected to live feed apps. Ranchers monitor herds remotely, ensuring gates only close when all individuals, including piglets, are inside. Timing is everything. Feral hogs are intelligent enough to learn from a single survivor. Some ranchers employ patience as a strategy, leaving traps open for weeks to desensitize hogs. Once suspicion wanes, they execute a single, decisive operation, sometimes eliminating an entire herd in one night. Communities now share resources across properties, while helicopter teams conduct rapid sweeps over thousands of acres. Specialized feeders dispense toxins that target only hogs, sparing non-target wildlife. The results are encouraging. In Atascosa County, integrated strategies have cut corn crop losses from 600 acres to near zero. Australian and New Zealand wildlife agencies study Texas as a blueprint for controlling invasive pig populations. Yet, researchers agree, nothing replaces the coyote. No trap matches their precision. No helicopter rivals their efficiency. No toxin can continuously exploit the weakness that defines a population's future, the next generation. Dr. Sarah Vance, a USDA wildlife biologist, sums it up bluntly: coyotes aren't a supplement, they are the strategy. Everything else is support. The answer in the footage. Revisiting the Blanco County trail camera footage offers clarity. Officials didn't alter eradication methods because of policy directives. They adapted because they witnessed firsthand a predator executing a strategy humans had spent decades trying to replicate. The most effective weapon against one of America's most destructive invasive species was never a bullet, a trap, or a helicopter. It was the coyote, underestimated, patient, adaptive, and silently restoring balance while billions of dollars were spent fighting the wrong war. It begs reflection. What other parts of our ecosystems are we ignoring, assuming humans must fix what nature has already perfected? How often do we intervene prematurely, dismantling processes that evolved over centuries? Character and context. Consider the humans involved. Ranchers like Tom Reyes, who has spent 40 years raising corn and cattle in Blanco County, often wake at 4 a.m., eyes bleary, coffee in hand, scanning fields for signs of destruction. To him, feral hogs aren't abstract statistics, they're daily adversaries. Yet, he admits grudging respect, you can't beat them with brute force. Coyotes, they get it. They're the only ones who really understand the rhythm of the wild. Then there are the biologists, individuals like Dr. Bodenchuk and Dr. Vance, who wrestle daily with nature's contradictions. They record, analyze, and theorize, not to conquer, but to understand. Their work underscores a profound truth. Wildlife management isn't just about eliminating pests, it's about observing patterns, interpreting intelligence, and learning when to step back. The setting is equally compelling. Blanco County's landscape is a mix of rolling hills, dense brush, and scattered oak trees. Nightfall transforms it into an arena of shadow and sound, where coyotes slip silently through undergrowth, pigs grunt and root for food, and humans watch helplessly from afar. Each dawn brings evidence of battles waged under the cover of darkness, upturned soil, shredded nests, and the fleeting absence of piglets. It's a theater of survival, where every actor, human, predator, or prey, plays a role in a story far older than recorded history. Closing reflection. The war on feral hogs offers lessons beyond the borders of Texas fields. It's a narrative about human hubris, the temptation to intervene, and the unanticipated consequences of disrupting natural balances. Coyotes remind us that ecosystems carry intelligence, often invisible to us, evolving solutions over generations. Next time you view a so-called nuisance animal, pause to consider its role. What if the creature dismissed as a scavenger is, in reality, an essential agent of balance? How many problems might we be exacerbating while chasing short-term victories? In Blanco County, the trail camera continues its vigil. Coyotes patrol the brush at dawn, hunting, adapting, and teaching, silently, the world a critical lesson. Sometimes, the best solution is the one already present, if only we are willing to observe, understand, and respect it. What other hidden allies might be quietly operating in plain sight? How much have we overlooked in our quest to control nature? The answers remain elusive, but the footage, the tracks, and the quiet efficiency of coyotes offer a powerful clue. Survival is rarely about strength alone. It is about strategy, patience, and understanding the intelligence that exists beyond our own.